Well, hello everyone. I just want to say again, welcome to my car. You'll probably get this a few times with temporarily not having an office and also having a house of two young kids who are full of distractions. And so, welcome to Bible in 1 year. And also, today we're going to be launching into the book of Numbers as we start on chapter 14. And, a lot has happened up to this point. We've seen the exit of Israel, we've seen God invite them into a covenant relationship. We've seen his people again and again, just like us, rebel against him. And despite all of that, God still provides a way to live near his holy presence with the tabernacle, which is what Leviticus is all about, the book before Numbers. And so here we are in Numbers. And in the first few chapters, I know this wasn't a part of the reading, but a census is taken and all the people are numbered, which is where we get the name of this book. And it talks about how all the tribes are to be organized with God's presence, the tabernacle being in the middle of it all. So here we are, chapter 14, verse 1, and this is what it says. It says, "That night, all of the members of the community raised their voice and wept aloud." And so why are they weeping? In chapter 13, I don't know if you read this, but they saw the promised land and they wanted to go check it out. So they sent 12 spies, and 10 they come back. And even though they acknowledge, right, all the things that the Lord has said to be true, it's flowing with milk and honey and all these great things, they also said and recognized with their eyes that the people are too big and they're too strong. And so they think it's impossible to overtake them. However, there are two people, Joshua and Caleb. They came filled with faith, wanting to overtake the land. But the 10, they convinced the whole community, and is why, and here in verse 1, that they're all weeping. And so let's go on in verse 2. It says, "All the Israelites, they grumbled against Moses and Aaron, and the whole assembly said to them, 'If only we had died in Egypt or in the wilderness. Why would the Lord bring us to this land only to let us fall by the sword? Our wives and children will be taken as plunder. Wouldn't it be better for us to go back to Egypt?'" I don't know about you, but when I read this, I'm just like, are they crazy? Like, don't they remember how bad Egypt was when they were enslaved? But not only that, have they forgotten all the amazing things that the Lord has done? The 10 plagues, he rescued them with that. He parted the Red Sea. And despite all these things, they forgot. And this is why I believe that the Lord does not like grumbling. It's not only offensive to him, but it also impacted an entire community to turn against him. And so here's the application, and here's the question. Are you in a season where what you see with your eyes are more convincing than your eyes of faith? And if that is you, two things to remember, okay? And I don't know if you were here a couple weekends ago, but Shane taught a lot about this. But two things to remember: to remember and to recall. To remember and to recall. Remember who God is and remember who you are. You see, despite all that God has done, they have forgotten that he is over it all, and they have forgotten that they are chosen and they are loved by him. So it's not only remember, but also recall. Recall the specific things that God has done. You see, I'm convinced that though all these amazing moves that God was doing, it was all miraculous. They have forgotten specific things that God has done and how he has delivered them time and time and time again. And so remember and recall. Remember, how do you do that? I really believe one of the best ways to do that is to worship. To worship. You see, every time you worship, it sets your eyes not on the things of this world, but rather on him and who he is. And so start your day with worship by remembering. And the second thing is to recall. And how do you do that? To store up the safe of your soul with testimonies of specific things. And you might be wondering, well, what are some specific testimonies? There's a whole lot of them. And so remember how God loves you. Remember how God saved you. Think about that specific testimony of how he saved you and rescued you from darkness into light. Are there healings, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, whatever it is? Is there provision and protection, how God has provided time and time again? There's freedom, there's power, and the list goes on. And so here's what I want to encourage you for today: to not be the 10 who grumble due to what they see with their eyes in the natural, but instead be the 2, be the few who walk by faith and not by sight, because they remember and recall who God is in all that He has done. Hope you guys have a good rest of the day. Bye bye.